And then he proceeds to show me probably like top 3 biggest penises I've ever seen in my life. He's like, I've never been deep-throated before, and it's been my lifelong dream, and I just kind of accepted that it's never going to happen. And then I went like this. You're in for a treat.
Welcome to Soto Social Club underneath Gelso and Grand in Little Italy, New York. This is one of my favorite secret venues. I had my birthday party here. It's just like the perfect private, sultry space that you can kind of do anything with. Let's go check it out. Welcome back to Drinks First, the podcast where you can match with New York City's Kinda Eligible. Today we are at Soto Social Club, one of the best kept secrets in New York for a private event space. I had my birthday party here. It's underneath Gelso and Grand in Little Italy, and the space is clearly gorgeous. We are here today with our very first reprise guest. I'm not going to tell you what episode they were on, but this is a first for us. We like to bring you fresh new singles, but I felt compelled to have you on again. So welcome back.
Thank you so much, Ariana. It feels great to be back. It feels electric to be in the hot seat again.
There we go.
I'm still just as horny, if not hornier.
There we go. All right, great.
And that's a threat.
That's a threat. Let's hear a little bit about you. How old are you? Where do you live? Where are you from?
So I'm from New York. I am 30. That stays here. I just actually moved to Berlin roughly 5-6 months ago. Do not regret it. Regretted it for like a month or two, but I feel really good about the decision.
You're in between both, though.
I'm kind of in between both. I come back every 2 to 3 months. My parents are super old. I want to spend time with them as much as I can. And I love seeing my friends. And also I get all my work done here, so.
And what do you do for work?
So I'm an artist. I paint full time. I actually just had a show in Vienna, and I'm going to be in a show in Lisbon the end of April. It's really cute. The gallery wants to put my paintings in a convent, which makes perfect sense to me.
Right. So explain a little bit what your paintings are, because
I do a lot of autobiographical figurative work, mostly because I am a narcissist.
There's that.
There's that. Be careful. But large-scale painting, self-portraiture. I tackle a lot of themes about reality, existence, survival, what it means to. I'm kind of driving towards more of a lane of understanding the American identity and what it's like to exist as a woman in that space.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a larger conversation and an interesting perspective that you have. Part of the reason why I allowed you to come back on is because you are a new version of yourself.
I'm a very new version of myself. It feels great. It feels great to be in my body for the first time and to really sling it, I guess.
Oh, are we slinging it now?
Slinging it and getting slung?
Kidding? Okay. Sure. 100%. Right. We are also 6 days
take a good look right now, America, because I am getting my tits done.
Hell yeah.
Thank fucking God.
And we're going with
just going with a low C.
A low C.
Like a B to low C. Something timeless.
Something timeless.
Something classic.
Oh, and things should be bigger.
And, as much as I love an opinion from a man,
right,
I think I'm going to take this one on my own.
Absolutely. What made you decide to go that route? Tell me.
It just felt I feel like it made sense for me. I'm relatively short, and
yeah.
I feel like it would look kind of crazy if I had like G's for I was gonna say my name.
We would have bleeped it out.
I just feel like I wanted the same size that my mom had when she was my age.
Right.
That kind of just made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're here. And I'm excited to have you back because you are very much the epitome of the Brooklyn to Berlin pipeline. Oh my God, I am.
You are. I'm an artist and I live in Brooklyn.
My defense for that
sure.
is everyone moves to Berlin to fuck around, to not have a job, to they never learn German. And I am there focusing on my career. I'm learning German mostly out of spite because everyone's like, it's so hard. And I'm like, it's not.
But I feel like anyway, Germans are spiteful, so that makes sense.
Germans? I get along with Germans better than I want to, honestly. They're very direct.
Okay.
And it's like a very like New York thing to just be like,
True.
just say what you mean. And Americans love to lie. So it feels really nice to be around people who just like say what they mean. It's made dating like way more fun.
Totally.
But I'm not going to say I'm looking for monogamy, but I do think monogamy as like a kink is like hot.
Okay, tell me more.
I just think it's hot to be like possessive in a way. I think it'd be hot to be like, I'm his and he's mine.
So like kind of like a, I don't know, like
A toxic relationship?
yeah, I don't know. Like,
I don't know, like
I was gonna say like a breeding game. But like,
well, yes, and
too
yes.
far.
Not far enough.
Not
dare I
far
say.
enough.
Oh God, I gotta pull it back.
Hee hee.
So, as you know, like I famously was in an open relationship. My most recent relationship was open, a very successful open relationship. And me and my ex love to brag about it because no one gets to say that.
Right.
Our only rule was you have to tell me if it's funny.
Love that.
Because we had built such a solid foundation of trust.
Right.
It was kind of effortless to open the floodgates and do this because we both knew that I needed more. Mm-hmm. And I love that for us.
How long were you with that ex?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And as you know, like I'm still best friends with all my ex-boyfriends.
Right.
I have them all
in a group chat. You have all of your ex-boyfriends in a group chat.
To be fair, I got their consent each one because I was sending them all the same memes and I wanted to streamline the process.
Right. Workflow.
Because if there's one thing they all have in common besides their love for me,
right,
is they're all really fucking funny. They're all so fucking funny.
That's true.
And so putting them all in the same group chat together, they all just ran with it.
Have they all met in person?
No, none of them have met yet. They're all in different cities. It's called the Bug Bucket.
Why?
They're my bugs that I collected.
Sure.
And I love to put memes in their enclosure and let them run wild. They're friends together now. They send each other content. They make me laugh all the time. One time, I frequently will be on a date with a man, and when the man like goes into the bathroom or something, I'll text them like an update of what's happening.
Right.
And I'll be like, one time I said, this is so funny that I'm texting my ex-boyfriend group chat while I'm on a date with this guy. And one of them was like, we should unionize and start charging you a subscription fee. And
Substack.
I do have a secret Substack.
I didn't know this.
You didn't know about this? You're going to love it. You have to subscribe.
Of course I'll subscribe.
I'm giving you play-by-plays of my dates in Berlin.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Since when have you had that?
It's recent. I've only made like 4 or 5 posts.
Honestly, that's
It's
like
kind of
more
iconic.
frequent than I post. So. Cool. If you're watching this, subscribe to my Substack.
Imagine Sex in the City in Berlin, but a little less annoying, but a lot like
raunchier?
No, I try not to be too raunchy.
Oh.
Just because I want you to like, well, depends on which one you're
Well,
reading.
Substack is all about free speech, so I think you should lean in.
To free speech.
Substack is American.
Sponsor us, please.
I'm literally going to reach out to them and have them like sponsor us. But I need to know like what your favorite spots in, I guess now both New York and Berlin are. Where do you like to go out? Where do you like to eat? Let the people know.
So, we're going dancing.
We're going dancing.
I am not waiting in line. I don't care who the fuck I am. I'm not waiting in line. If I will know somebody who's working, who's DJing, something. I'm not waiting in line.
And that, I think people need to know, like, that is the key to getting in almost anywhere.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how hot you are, it doesn't matter how cool you are. If you need to know people, you will get in.
Also, like, if you sincerely don't know anybody, what you do is you go into the guest list line and you make a friend. And they will get you in.
Okay, interesting.
It doesn't always work, but it will work if you're fun enough.
I wouldn't recommend that.
If you have a good personality,
yeah, I think that's
that.
like really key.
And
like,
you want to know something? Most of you don't.
Most of you don't. Okay, so spots, we're going dancing. You're not waiting in line.
We're going dancing.
Are we in Brooklyn? Are we in New York? Are we in Berlin?
Okay, so for New York, I'm usually going dancing in like Brooklyn or something, unless I know a specific thing happening or there's like a Fabulous Drinks First event happening.
Like if there's a Fabulous Drinks First event happening, of course.
But do you love going out to Basement? Nowadays is kind of a classic space.
Hell yeah.
All these classic spots. Market Hotel has my heart.
New.
Not
Ish.
new. Not new.
New on TikTok.
New on, unfortunately, new on TikTok.
Unfortunately, new on TikTok.
I'm like, I kind of feel bad talking about it because like the thing is with a lot of these spaces, it's kind of like,
They're good until they're not.
more so like, let's take Berlin for example. Let's take
Sure.
Berghain. People.
Berghain.
Shut up. Okay.
You've been,
Of course.
and I've been.
And that's this. And you understand this then. My
Yeah.
point is like, people love to be like, it's the hardest club to get into. Like, oh my god, we have to do all these things. It's like, no, it's actually famously a gay sex club.
Yeah.
So like, if you're straight,
And that
you're
is what
born-
is happening in there.
and that is exactly
You
what's
can-
happening in there.
you
And it's
can't be surprised
crazy.
by it. Like-
you can't. And it's like I remember this one time we were in Berghain and we were like walking through and my friend tripped over this guy getting fisted.
Yeah.
And the guy with like the fucking elbow deep arm and the other guy, she was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, it's okay, honey. Accidents happen. What?
Everyone's really kind in there.
Everyone's so kind.
Yeah, once you're inside, it's not like a New York club where everyone thinks they're like the coolest person in the room. Once you're in, everybody's like very open and nice and like willing to talk to you and just
For
there to have a
sure.
good time. Like it's kind of community.
Also, you see like what I love about it is like the people at the door aren't screening for cool people. There are some
Screening for
crazy-
gays.
They screen for gays. No, but they screen for like there are some like crazy ass random like fun ass people that you would like never see in like a cool club in New York at this club because like the people at the door are just curating a vibe.
Do you
That's what it is.
think Berghain is worth the hype?
Depends who's playing, but it's also just like what I will say to Berlin versus New York nightlife and why Berlin nightlife I particularly think is so enjoyable is just because people are going out to dance. People are going out to dance. They're going out to have a good time. They're not trying to sabs. They're not trying to see and be seen. They're not.
See and be seen.
We're-
Sabs.
Are we sabsing tonight?
Sabsing.
Let's go sabsing.
That's very New York.
Oopsie.
That's so New York
It
nightlife.
is New York. And it's like, it's boring. It's like, that's like a big problem with New York nightlife now. It's because everybody wants to like be perceived a certain way. Everyone
Totally.
is fantasizing about having fun and not actually having fun.
Totally.
And I'm like, girl, like do something. Like, the
Okay,
fuck?
so where do you like in Berlin then? Berghain.
Okay, Berghain's fun. Sure.
Berghain.
See, this is the thing. If I don't
Sorry.
say it like that, I get
Valid.
smacked in the
It's
mouth.
valid.
You
It's
know what I
valid.
mean? Like I can't. Okay, so there's that. RSO's cute. This isn't like an institution. I went like once or twice. It is a 24-hour nightclub,
Sure.
techno club, from Thursday to I think Tuesday.
Which is what
is going-
Berghain is, no?
No, it's like
From Thursday to Sunday.
Berghain is from Saturday through Sunday. Friday night is in
Panorama Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Nowadays is now 24 hours.
is it like playing music the entire time?
Mm-hmm.
That's sick because Okay, so I want to argue that Golden Gate is the most authentic club in Berlin, and here is my argument.
All right, let's hear it.
One, it reeks of piss. It just really like if anywhere smells more like piss than New York, it is Berlin. Okay, like 100%. In fact,
Smells like home.
it is reminiscent of home, but also like I have never seen so much human shit like on the street in my entire life.
Really?
People are like, New York is worse. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It is not worse. This is crazy.
Is it because there's like homeless people or like who's shitting on the street?
Who's shitting on the street? That's the $1 million question
Right.
on everybody's mouth. I don't know. I'm assuming it's homeless people, but really it's Berlin. It could be anyone.
Could be anyone.
Could be you.
Performance art.
It honestly, the amount of times I've seen shit and been like, this very well could be art. Just like anything happening in real life that seems
So like
amiss.
Berlin is a meme of itself.
Berlin just loves to gaslight you, and as a woman, I do love to be gaslit.
Of course.
Of course.
Okay,
Very
wait,
affirming.
let's go back to spots in New York. So
Spots in New York.
you like nowadays, you like Good Room, you like Basement,
There's
which
a lot
I would
of
argue is like the closest to what you would get to a Berlin
classics.
club.
I used R.I.P. Paragon. Paragon was so cute. R.I.P. Venus and Furs. That's what it was before
Oh,
Paragon.
wow.
That was super
That's
fun
a
and
throwback.
sexy.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to a lot of amazing, fabulous DIY spaces in Bushwick, like the Glove, like that shit was. I went to my very first like punk shows. I showed some of my first work at the Glove. Like, really miss that stuff.
What about like now? Where do you like to eat? Because I also know you love food.
So if I have any friends visiting, I'm always like, one of my key fun things to do is like go to Barney Greengrass, get like your bagel, get the whole works, take it, walk through Central Park, go to Riverside Park. Like I grew up going to Riverside Park. That was always one of my favorites. I love one of my favorite coffee spots in New York, and I'm sad because their outdoor seating was amazing. Like, how dare they take that away?
Fuck Erica
It's called
Adams.
As You Like. It's this like adorable little Japanese cafe in East Williamsburg. I used to read there every morning. The people who work there are so sweet. They play great music. Their coffees are amazing. I do love Moe's Doughs. It's this like little
Oh, the donut shop?
yeah, in
Yeah,
Greenpoint.
Greenpoint.
Give me a good diner, and that place fucking slaps. I love that shit.
People say that apple fritters there are very good.
Really good.
Yeah.
If you're thinking like sexy fun date nights.
Yes.
Okay, so if we're in Greenpoint, I love Bar Americano. Bar Americano is so sexy. It's so chic. Frog, that wine bar with the sexy pool table
In Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy. Love that spot. Granted, this is a place near and dear to my heart. It was near my old apartment. It's under the BQE. It's called Nightshade. I love that place. The vibes are really good. The music isn't as good as it used to be. They used to play like excellent, crazy music, like anything from like 70s Iranian jazz to like anything. It's crazy. It was amazing.
Should we talk about pool night?
My old roommate and I, we used to have a pool night once a week. We woke up one morning in 2021. We're like, let's get good at pool.
Yeah.
And then we did. We used to go play pool. We got good. It would start at Nightshade.
Yeah, being good at pool is hot.
It is hot. No, ladies, like or men, everybody.
Hey!
My thing is like, go do something. Go have a fucking hobby. Like,
Yeah.
don't pretend to have a hobby. Like, go do something. Get good. Learn a skill.
You'll meet people through
You'll
that.
meet people. Meeting people playing pool is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so easy too. Like you have to shake the other person's hand when you play them and introduce yourself.
And you can do it for free.
You can sometimes.
Sometimes.
You
There
have
are
to, like-
places. There are places.
There are places with free nights. Sometimes it's like $1.
Yeah.
So step your bag up and you can play pool. But we would have these fun little pool nights. I actually started bringing a pool night back to Berlin. And so
Your roommate and I, when we lived in Barcelona together,
Our
we would
bestie, yeah.
we would also pool night because it's just such a great way to meet people.
it's a great way to meet people.
Yeah.
And speaking of, some of my iconic like
Hookups. Yes.
romances, dare I say, have
Yes.
been meeting people playing pool. So this was in November actually.
Yeah.
At our friend Demetra's birthday. It wasn't actually a pool night, but it was at this bar that had a great pool table. Did not see any of this coming. I was not dressed ready. I was in my like Olivia Rodrigo outfit. I had this like it
We all have one.
we all have one, okay? Like it was kind of I like asked several people. I was like, "Can I wear this to a bar?" And that's the other thing about Berlin that I love is you can wear anything.
But
And-
this was in New York.
No, this was in last November.
Oh,
This was
okay.
in last November in Berlin.
Yeah.
And so we're at this bar, Blaue Alpha. Don't go to the one that's near Hermannstrasse. Go to the one near Sonnenallee because the one near Hermannstrasse is a little racist. We'll talk about that later. My point is, so we're at Blaue Alpha, whatever. And I get there, hugs and kisses, and that's when I look, if there's a pool table, I'm like, great, let's play. And then I see, like, literally, like, the two, like, epitomes of my type from a spectrum. It was actually kind of crazy.
Which is
Like, one guy had, like, darker features, amazing mustache, dressed so well. Like,
Yeah.
so well.
that really goes a long way.
Both fuck ass tall. Like, it was actually kind of insane. But I will want to say this. I'm not a height elitist. I am.
You're not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I famously have dated men my height, and I'm like 5'4" and 3/4, basically 5'5". And like, more likely than not, you are taller than me. And honestly, if you don't care, I don't care.
Yeah. Everybody's the same size lying down.
If not, no. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They're not.
Not my experience.
My point is, like, I am not one to be a stickler about height. A lot of short men hate that they're short, and they make it my problem. And to be fair, like, this one, I remember the one short guy that I was dating, the one I know you're thinking of. We dated for a while. Great guy till he wasn't. One
always
time we
are.
were walking through a bar, and we were crossing all these, like, tall people, right? And after they walked past us, I turned to him and I was like, you know what my favorite thing about dating someone my height is? And he went, what? And I was like, it makes me feel like we're Smurfs. And he did not.
He must have loved that one.
He really did.
He must have loved that one.
I'm like, why don't you think that's funny? That's so funny. I'm like, I'm Smurfette and you're Papa Smurf.
Interesting role play choice.
I didn't stutter. So back at the Rams, we're playing pool.
We're playing pool.
These two insanely hot
Fuck ass
German,
tall.
fuck
German
ass
men.
tall, so hot German guys. I'm literally playing eeny, meeny, miny, mo at this point.
Right.
I would argue to say more chemistry with the other one, but the one that I'm like really latched onto is the one that was like really well dressed. He studies French literature at this university outside of Cologne that I actually recently found out was one of like the better programs in the country. So I was like, sick. Okay, let's ride. Okay. He comes from a village of 400 people.
Right.
Which you will understand later in the story that men from villages have the best stroke game.
Okay, interesting.
And I will die on that hill.
Tell me more.
They just aren't like tainted by like brain rot like city folk are.
Right.
And these men really know what the fuck they're doing. Anyways, back at the ranch. So hot. We are flirting. Things are starting to get more evident that we want to escalate things. And that's kind of when I'm like, okay, like, I need to tell you that I'm trans. Because I will be damned if I'm in any situation that puts me in danger or, like, makes him uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no reason to do that for anybody. And so I pull him aside at one point. I'm like, hey, like, I'm kind of nervous to tell you this, but, like, I'm transgender. And he looks at me and goes, so? And I'm like, no. No, not so. Like, fuck, you mean so. I was like, have you done this? Have you been with a trans person before?
You're like, you're from a village of 400
You're
people.
from a village of 400 people. Are there dolls in that village? Like, I doubt it. And he was like, no, I've never done that. And I was like, okay, well, have you, like, thought about it? Like, are you, like, curious about it? He's like, no, I just don't think it's a problem. And I'm like, great.
Okay.
Best case scenario. And he was like, I think you're pretty and I think you're really funny. And I'm like, cool, let's ride.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to show me probably, like, top 3 biggest penises I've ever seen in my life. And he had said to me...
Top 3?
Top 3, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so hold on. You see this birthmark right here? Ariana, I want you to put your hand out there. I want you to do that. Right here, right here.
Wait, I can't see your birthmark.
Right there. That's how thick he was. And so he says to me, he's like, I've never been deep-throated before, and it's in my lifelong dream, and I just kind of accepted that it's never going to happen. And then I went like this. You're in for a treat. And
unhinge his jaw.
To be fair, to be so fair, I did have to, like, to get the whole thing down, I did have to, like, come at it from that, like, 69 angle. But when
Top down.
From top down. But when I did get his... when I did get the whole thing down, it was
like a vacuum cleaner, you know, to get the best angle to pick something up, you kind of gotta like.
Let me tell you, Dyson based all their research off my throat.
Okay.
But
I'm so sorry, Mom and Dad. Okay.
Oh, hold on, really quick. I've been trying really hard to be like less sexual.
No,
because my mom really did raise me to be like a southern
lady.
lady. Like she fully did, and I really am like when it's appropriate. But we're kikiing.
We're in Soda Social Club with drinks.
Soda Social Club with drinks. Okay, so once I get my lips to his balls, holding down my throat, he screams. He lets out.
Is it like a shriek?
It's as if he literally saw God. Like he just like he really his whole life thought this would never happen. Because
Dreams can come true.
Things can come true. Like every girl he's been with prior to this, like could barely get like half of it in. Like when we like had sex, he had said to me, he was like, he's probably only like fucked someone like once or twice. And I'm relatively loud in bed, like I'll say that. When I go silent, that's when you know I'm blacking out in the best way possible. That's when you know like I'm in another world. There is since you fucked every single shred of conscious thought out of my brain.
And you did give him a nickname.
Oh yeah, I accidentally. So I'm not one to give people nicknames. I'm not that kind of girl. I think that's kind of like cliche and like dumb. But I accidentally called him Megaladong.
To his face?
No, not to his face.
Oh.
Well, actually, hold on. To be fair, like, so I can't believe I'm saying this. To be fair, we did take a video of me going down on him. Because when you have a dick that big, you're just obsessed with yourself.
Right.
And so he was, like, really, like, he wanted to memorize the moment. You know what I mean? It was a very big moment for him. He was great. We still stay in contact. I didn't like. He literally had to go back to Cologne like the next day. It was so sad. Like, I'm gonna see him again eventually. God knows when.
Right.
His friend did hit me up afterwards, which was exciting. I haven't seen him yet, but hopefully in the future I will.
Okay.
I love to run through a friend group. I've run through my friend group, or at least like
Well.
Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
So I just moved to Berlin, right?
Yeah.
And I moved. A big part of why I chose to move to Berlin, like over LA, for example, was because I had so many friends.
Because fuck LA. Sorry.
Because also fuck LA.
Fuck LA.
To be honest, it was between Berlin or Salt Lake City. If we're being completely honest.
Which?
Love Salt Lake City. I love Salt Lake City. I was there
Crazy
once.
dichotomy of choice
I was there for a month doing a painting residency, and I fell in love with it. Nature is beautiful. Everyone there is so nice.
Love the Mormons.
Mormons are rebranding, and I stand for it. I really do. I'm here for it.
I mean, you've seen the like Mormon swinger show, right?
No.
You haven't heard about this?
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
There's like Mormon women who like are swingers with their husbands. Like they're like groups of Mormon women and they swap. They like soft swap and hard swap and they like talk about it.
I'm going to tell you right now, those men love the dolls. Those men, the Mormon men.
I believe it.
They're hot. Regardless. I had a lot of friends already in Berlin. And as a result of that, I've kind of accidentally found myself like within the lesbian mafia of Berlin.
That checks out.
Now picture the L word. It's exactly like that.
Okay.
But in Berlin. I know the LA lesbians are also like really chic and sexy. The Berlin lesbians
They actually are.
The New York lesbians could fucking never. The New York lesbians are not on this level.
And I've kind of heard that from some of my lesbian friends.
The lesbians.
Yeah.
And it has been fun being like the token straight girl of the group to an extent.
Yeah.
But there are like a few straight men that are like in our greater orbit. Every single one of them has come on to me. 3 of them have liked me on Hinge.
Not so subtle.
I haven't had sex with any of them yet.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. It's called self-restraint.
It's called keeping the peace.
It's called keeping the peace. No, but like to be fair, like
you think people in Berlin would be like,
no, they wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care.
No, they don't care. They really don't. It's like so much more chill. Things are just so much less political. Things are less deep because people are saying what they mean and mean what they say. So when it like
right, you were saying Germans are very straightforward.
The thing with dating in Berlin has been so refreshing.
Right.
Is one, I'm meeting way more interesting people than I am here.
Okay, tell me more.
Meeting men. I just feel like I'm meeting men. So in New York, there are a lot of people who are transplants from other states.
Yeah.
Like fuck ass states. They're all American. And the thing about the coasts right now, we're looking at you, Owen.
Yeah.
The thing about America right now is the coasts and everything happening outside of it is so epically divided.
Right.
In a way that the coasts are so painfully online that people are so much more afraid of digital ridicule. People are so online that no one wants to step out of line or do anything that could be how they perceive a social faux pas based on what their specific algorithm is feeding them. So everyone is seeing this one way of living, thinking that that's how the world is.
Right.
And they try to adapt to that. And everyone is so afraid to burst out of that.
It's super interesting. There's all of this discourse happening online right now because some girl was like, New York City influencers are so boring, which like,
they are
valid. And she was like pointedly talking about a specific group of women that
better ass.
Yeah. And it caused an uproar, and there's all this discourse about it online, being like, oh, well, you're only seeing one side of New York, and these women aren't like real New Yorkers, but at the same time, these people get views because they perpetuate what people want, and so it's chicken and egg. There's like,
yeah,
right. So you're basically just like living life for online.
It's a fantasy land now.
Yeah,
it's so bad. That is boring. It's boring as hell. That's kind of why I like Berlin right now because, ironically enough, it's arguably more authentic. It's just like less deep. Like people aren't doing things for the sake of like looking. Okay, that's not true. I was gonna say people aren't doing things for the sake of looking cool.
I feel like
it's existing in a different paradigm.
Yeah,
it's less online.
Okay.
And so,
what does clout in Berlin look like?
That's so interesting. It's less intense as it is here.
Interesting.
Because here's a big difference.
Yeah.
Here, everything you do is transactional. Here's a great example. I think Minnie told you about this. Our friend Minnie, she's from New York. She lives in Athens right now. She came to visit me for a week. And she was telling me about this guy that she was dating, and she was telling me about how, like, on their, like, 3rd or 4th date, like, he came to her house, and she was like already cooking, and it's a very like culturally Greek thing to, or like it's culturally for a lot of cultures, for anyone to enter your home and you're like, let me get you something, let me make you something, let me feed you, and that's perfectly normal. However, in New York, if a man came to my apartment and I was like, let me make you something, let me feed you, let me give you something, he would be like, this is too intense. You're in love with me. How fucking dare you? Literally, and it's like, bro, true. Like, it's not that deep.
Right.
Like, why? Like, why? People can't be people anymore here. Basic signs of affection and care here are so wildly misconstrued in a way that just completely takes away intimacy. And that's kind of also my argument with this whole, like, I read this one thing by this random sexologist who was talking about how situationships are the death of good sex.
Yeah, probably.
And a big part of that is because, like, situationships deny both parties the ability to develop intimacy platonically. Because what is good sex without intimacy?
Yeah.
And, like, intimacy is somehow misconstrued with this, like, commitment and this greater romantic affection, where intimacy is just the foundation of connecting with people. And, like,
people are really scared to connect with people.
Terrified. And,
yeah.
And I think that is a whole greater conversation about just, like, survivalism in American culture and the way that, like, women are dating, like, people in general are dating performatively. Like, let's circle back to this whole idea of, like, the 6'5" trust fund,
right.
Blue hair, whatever,
blue-eyed, blonde, blue-eyed, whatever, yeah.
First of all, PSA, I have dated that man. You don't want that man. That man is a fucking psycho. That man is a terrorist. If he sees this, he knows I'm talking about him. We're, like, still friends because he is, like, super crazy and we do get along. But, like, ladies, you don't want that. One, I'm going to say this. All finance men are evil. They all lack empathy. And if you, like, want to prove me wrong, please do. None of them have stroke game. Oh, wait. Let's talk about that one. None of them got stroke game. Okay? I'm all about that shit.
When things come easy to people, they don't have to work hard for it.
It's, like, so exhausting, honestly. Like, it's, like, so boring. And I'm like, you have no personality. You're also, like, afraid of women who do have personality. And it's like,
do you find that has created external desires for them that they You're like rolling your eyes.
I'm rolling my eyes because, like, okay, this is also, like, kind of silly, but, like, so many finance men that because I did have a phase. We all had a phase. You got to be a woman in New York and have this phase. We all want to get a finance man at some point because some part of it seems glamorous.
Right.
I grew out of that real quick. I will say, though, more often than not, these men, like, wanted me to pee on them. Yeah. They all had, like, weird fucking fetishes, and I'm like, bro, like, go outside, read a book, like, talk to a woman. Not sexually, like, please, like, develop
heavy
empathy.
On that. It's really hard for guys to make, I think, platonic friendships.
Period.
Like, totally disconnecting sex from it, especially as adults. I think it's really hard. Whether or not they're single men or they're in a relationship, it's really hard to have, like, male friends, like, in a dynamic where two people can be attracted to one another. I don't feel that way because I have a lot of male friends.
Same.
But I think a lot of those male friends have been for, like, long-time friends of mine.
There was this one guy that I was hooking up with who was, like, at the Navy Academy in Maryland, but who's from the Upper East Side, and he would come home to visit family, and we would, like, hook up. Top 3 hottest people in the world I've ever had sex with, in a way that I'm like, you're too attractive. I'm, like, mad at you. I actually don't think I'm into you anymore.
Yeah, that has happened to me before.
Because these men, like, have been given everything in their lives they've never been said no to, and I'm like, I'm telling you no right now. I'm actually not going to give you what you want because you don't deserve it.
And they love that.
So I'm going to put you in my pink fuzzy leather leash and make you my good puppy.
And they love that.
And no, they love it too much because this is, oh my God, I'm, like, really going off the rails. But there's just, every single time I put a man on the leash, there gets this one critical point where they're, like, inside me, and I tug on the leash and I look at them and I go, fuck me harder, and that's what makes them come every time without fail. And
how often are you putting people in a leash?
Not as often as I'm gonna say not as often as I like to be. No, I actually haven't done it. I don't think I've done it since New York. I actually haven't done it since New York.
Is New York freakier than Berlin?
I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say yes. I think there's more people in New York who are freaky and hiding it. There's more people in Berlin who are openly
freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah. That tracks.
Totally tracks. Because some of these men, because I'm also like, I'm a very open-minded person. People love to open up to me. I am really good at listening. I'm very trusting. I'm also like, I don't care. Like, if you tell me something crazy, like, I'm not going to take it seriously. Like, I'm not going to
judge you.
I'm not going to judge you.
Yeah.
It's like never that deep. And so a lot of these men will trauma dump on me sometimes. And that will include some fuck-ass crazy confessions. Like, can I say this?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, you can.
That one finance guy, the one you know I'm talking about, when he said to me, he was like, it's so hard to find good transgender scat porn. And I'm like, I'm sure it is. I'm sure.
Hold, pause for that. Sure.
I'm like, I'm not doing that. And he's like, I'm not asking you to. I'm like, you kind of are.
First world problems, my dude. First world problems.
Bless his heart. Love him. I hope he's not listening.
I kind of hope he is.
We'll see. Okay,
so I feel like you're living out your European fantasies.
Absolutely.
In a way that a lot of women would like to at some point in their lives, like the before sunrise.
Okay, we're going to talk about that one, and we're also going to talk about how I had my Lizzie McGuire moment twice in 12 hours.
Okay.
We have a lot to talk about. So basically, like, okay, I have this show in Vienna. I am up all night, the night before I have to leave to Vienna, painting. I'm crying. I hate this painting. I am miserable. I have been freaking out all week. The gallerist that I'm working with loves this painting for no reason. And I'm super stressed. It is 5 a.m. I'm at Berlin Bahnhof, like the central station in Berlin. There is no fucking sign for this train to Vienna. There is no sign. I'm kind of just like winging it, reading random things. I'm at this one train track, no signs. And I'm sitting, trying to figure this out. I have like a wet painting next to me. I'm disheveled. And this man walks up to me and he's like, excuse me, but do you speak English? And I look at him and I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, are we on the right train track? And I was like, I have no idea. And then we started talking. Then we're talking the entire 9-hour train ride. I haven't had any sleep.
From Berlin to Vienna.
From Berlin to Vienna. We're talking the entire 9-hour train ride. It's so sick. He lives in New York. He's from Jersey. Love a Jersey boy.
No comment.
My type exists in that, like, is he Jewish? Is he Italian? Is he from New Jersey? If I'm lucky, all three.
If you're lucky, all three.
And, I mean, I got 2 of the 3 there.
Sure.
Italian from Jersey. But he, so cute, so fun, very creative, very cool. We couldn't shut the fuck up. It wasn't until maybe like 5 hours into the train ride where I was like, okay, like, we're flirting. We are very clearly like...
Vibing.
We're vibing. And in fact, at one point we had to like change our seats because we didn't realize the seats were assigned. There was a whole thing, and we were sitting next to each other, and we like tried napping on each other, but we just couldn't shut the fuck up. And I was in Vienna for 72 hours. He was on a boys' trip to Berlin, but he went on a solo trip.
The boys' trip to Berlin.
To film a movie.
Right.
Of course.
Of course.
As one does.
Yeah.
Was doing a solo trip to Vienna to like see some paintings that he wanted to see.
Okay.
And so we then proceeded to spend the next 72 hours together. We were like inseparable. He had an Airbnb. I had my own Airbnb, which love my Airbnb host. Love her so much. She's divorced in her she's divorced in her mid-40s with children from LA, dating for the first time. This woman was dropping like wisdom.
Love that.
It was incredible. We
like
vibed
what?
So hard. Basically just like, don't get married too early. Don't get married young. Like,
Can I pause on
Yeah.
that for a second? Like, double click. I just came back from Abu Dhabi for the Forbes conference, and it was like just women. And it's women who are 30 under 30 listers and 50 over 50 listers.
Hell yeah.
And one of the largest things that I took away from that conference was, one, a lot of these powerful women get married much later.
Hell yeah.
They get married like late 30s, early 40s, even if they want to have children and have kids. Like, they are very focused on their careers. 2, I think a lot of women want to date of the same caliber or higher when it comes to men. But when you are at such a high caliber as like a powerful woman, that's becomes increasingly tough. And I found it very interesting because they spoke very openly about women being the breadwinners in their relationships and how money and like male insecurity impacts like their ability to have relationships.
And I want to speak on that actually in particular because the fact that like as women, we are trained, especially in the contemporary society, to care for ourselves, to be motivated, to succeed, to survive. And so we want a man who can at least take care of himself.
Yes, who only adds to your life, not takes away.
We can't afford, like in our society, to have someone that drains this power from us. We fought so hard. We're still fighting. We're never going to stop fighting to survive, to be seen, to be respected, to live. And like we don't have space to have anybody, let a man, whoever, take away from that.
Well, I think, 2 generations ago, women couldn't open bank accounts without being married.
Yeah.
A lot has changed in 2 generations, right? Like now there's more financial freedom for women. Obviously, the autonomy over women is being fought for with like our health and our bodies and like revoking Roe v. Wade and all of these things. Like there are other ways that the world is trying to control women in a way that is fucking horrible and scary. But we have more autonomy than we ever had in our lives. So we're in a portion of our life, not yet. We're not in equality yet, in my opinion.
My thing is like, if we have to step our bag up, you have to step your bag up too.
Yeah, but a lot of women want to date like people who are additive to their lives and don't take away from them. And it's not necessary to have a man in your life anymore. It's not. I mean, it's obviously helpful, but like I heard a story recently about a woman who got married young, got divorced, and was in her late 30s, and she was like, I want to have a kid. So she went to the sperm bank and she got pregnant, and now she's a single mom in India, out of all places. And she was like, I wanted to be a mom. Like, and I don't like necessarily need a man to do that.
I will say one thing from my personal perspective. I've been thinking about this a lot recently. I'm meant to be a homemaker. I am meant to be a stay-at-home mom. I am meant, like, that's kind of another thing I've been joking about with, like, wanting monogamy. Is, like, the kind of monogamy I want is, like, chain me to the radiator in the kitchen and get me pregnant. Like, I'm sick of this shit. I want out. I want out. I want out. I'm done with this shit. Like, also, I've been on dates with men, and I remember there's this one guy that I was dating that asked me this. He was like, oh, would you stay at home and like raise the children? I'm like, well, let's think about this realistically, because like I have an art career. It would be extremely realistic for me to have, there's a fly, to have an art career and raise my children, because like, let's say we had a home, I could have my studio, if not in the home, close to the home, and it would be rather effortless for me to be present in our children's life and raise them. And also like my parents personally, like they've been married for 55 years. They're still very much in love. They both of them took equal time raising me. There was always somebody at home, and it was an extremely special experience to be around. And like I really want kids. Like if I really want to give a daughter what I have with my mother, because my mother is like the epitome of what it means to be an American woman. She is a Southern debutante. She's from Alabama. She like had a coming out debutante ball. She's a powerhouse. Like she really taught me what it meant to be like a powerful woman.
Yeah.
And she is so overwhelmingly proud and supportive and affirmative of everything I've been doing, of who I am as a woman, and I get a lot of that from her.
I think it's so, like, your perspective on womanhood is so interesting because in a way, I think you've absorbed a lot of, like, the women who have surrounded you and their experiences, like, you've observed, and I see that a lot in your artwork. And, like, what does it mean to you now to, like, be a woman?
Interesting question. I think for me, actually, yeah, what it means for me now to be a woman is to just, like, be human, to be alive, to be conscious, to be in your body, to exist, to possess empathy, to engage in communal care, to, like, there's something very spiritual about being a woman, and, like, the way throughout time, the way we've been so connected to each other, to community, to love, to creating life, to facilitating life, to being the most powerful forces. And it's something that like I know that like I realized, you know this, like I realized I was transgender when I like first mourned my infertility, and that was like a really crazy thing for me to feel because I was like, why the fuck am I
How
crying?
old were you?
20.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, I would like everything in my life made sense in that moment because there was all these things throughout my life that like I just didn't make sense. But now I was like, oh, that's why like I cried myself to sleep. That's why like I wanted this. That's why it was always like that. That's why this never felt natural to me.
Right.
And that's kind of why like with transitioning, like it felt so effortless for people to like get on board because I just had this naturally feminine affectation, and I feel like I've always been around women, so it was never foreign to me to be one.
Right.
Because I have been this whole time. It just
You stepped into yourself.
I stepped into myself. Being a gay dude was fucking hard. I could not do that shit. That was impossible. I was like, what the fuck is this? I hate this. I can't do this.
On the totem pole of things, being a gay man was at the very bottom.
Being a gay man was so hard. I tried. I really did. Y'all make it look easy. It's not.
They're vicious.
They're doing something else. Anyways, before sunrise, Vienna, the train.
Right.
Basically, we spent 72 hours together. We we're at one point we go to my art show, we go to my opening, we have an amazing time. He comes with me. Everyone at the show was like, we thought you guys had known each other for years. Like we didn't know you guys just met. We went after that. We walked to there's an amusement park in like the central park of Vienna called Prater.
Yeah.
And we're in the amusement park. It's Halloween night, so like everything's dressed up. We're like,
Vienna's also just one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Why am I living in Berlin?
It's
Vienna is so
stunning.
nice. It's gorgeous.
It's so beautiful.
So crazy. But so we're on the top of the Ferris wheel. We're like talking about our lives, talking about our childhood. We're making out on the Ferris wheel. There's one point where I'm like, damn, this is the most cinematic shit I've done in my entire life. This fucking rocks. It kind of made me sad at one point because I was like, damn, there are so many bitches in this world who like
won't get to experience
like meeting an insanely hot guy on the train to Vienna,
right.
and then like having a crazy whirlwind romance with him, making out on the Ferris wheel, and then
it's like this is literally before sunrise.
It's literally before sunrise. But what you don't see in Before Sunrise is
the Calvin Kleins.
Well, that, and we go back to his Airbnb, and I said to him, I'm like, I'm not getting fucked in this lighting, and so we went and bought like a fuck ton of candles. And so we had tea lights all over the apartment, and we like made love the entire night. It was like really beautiful and so sweet.
I'm like looking around. There's tea lights everywhere.
Also, McDonald's in Vienna has popcorn shrimp, and it was amazing.
I would never trust shrimp from McDonald's. That is the craziest thing you've said all podcast.
It was so good.
Take it back.
No, I stand by that. McDonald's popcorn shrimp. Get into it.
That's wild.
It's
That's
really
crazy.
But so amazing. We're still friends.
Yeah, cool.
He actually, I saw him last time I was in New York. We like hung out. I like helped him with like movie stuff. I gave him a good credit. He recommended a great book to me. I usually don't listen to men when they give me book recommendations.
Valid.
But the book he referred to me Invisible Monsters by the guy who wrote Fight Club. He's gay.
Oh.
The guy who wrote Fight Club.
Oh. Yeah, like Fight Club isn't the gayest thing you've ever seen.
No, because this book is the gayest thing I've ever seen. And like I'm reading it, and it came out in 1989. It didn't come out until 2004. And I'm like, you're meaning to tell me people were supposed to believe a heterosexual man wrote this book? That's so crazy. Invisible Monsters, read it. It's an incredible book. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Cool.
I had my Lizzie McGuire moment 2 times
in
12 hours.
Right.
So we're having a girls' trip to Rome.
Yeah.
It's his 30th birthday. Mm. I get there like a day early because I booked my flight at a different time, and like I wanted some time to myself. Get there. I like bump into this guy that my like Airbnb host knows. And he's like, well, I would love to take you out later. And I'm like, for sure, I have nothing better to do. And so I meet him at night. He takes me all around Vatican City. He's a neurosurgeon. He just started at that.
Vatican City.
Ever heard of it? He is a neurosurgeon. He just started at the really fancy hospital in Rome.
Sure. I know the one.
You know the one. No. The one. And he took me around Vatican City, was like showing me all these things, was like telling me all these things. Was, like he grew up in Rome, and he was like talking about like all these places he used to hang out as a kid. And then he took me to this adorable bar that's like on the river, that's like half bookstore, half bar, and they were having like this was like when brat summer was at its peak. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. This was October. This was like
Liar.
they had like a brat.
Americans
themed
love
night.
to lie.
Americans love to lie. I'm always looking to lie. I don't lie enough. I really need to lie more. But he takes me to this bar. They're having like a brat night, and they have all these brat themed cocktails. We have aperitivos. We're drinking. We like go for a long walk, and then he didn't have a Vespa, but he did have a car.
Okay.
We took the top down, and we whipped that shit through Venice. Where was I?
Rome.
We whipped that shit through Rome at night. So beautiful, so fun. We then go to McDonald's because they're both hungry.
Enough. Sponsor the episode.
And they had
No free advertisements.
And in Italy, they had like these two like chef-inspired like chicken sandwiches.
Okay.
One had like artichoke hearts, and the other one had like some red cabbage thing. They were really good. And so we each got like chicken sandwiches. You go back to my Airbnb, and now here's the kicker. He wants to use a condom. I'm never gonna say no. Someone who wants to use a condom. I'm never going to say no, because first and foremost, I want both of us to be like comfortable and having a good time. Am I disappointed? Of course.
My disclaimer is get tested frequently, often. It's free in New York.
I just got tested.
It can save your life. It can save someone else's life.
For
like,
sure.
just do that. Okay, continue.
So, the thing is, with the condom, I didn't have lube. And he obviously didn't either. And so when in Rome, we did use olive oil. Which I'm going to tell you all right now, not good.
I feel like it wouldn't be any other coconut oil, perhaps.
We didn't have that. It was in an Airbnb. I didn't have coconut oil. The fuck you mean?
Olive oil's crazy.
Olive oil was crazy. It was crazy because it really just didn't work with the condom, regardless.
Oh, on the condom. You can't, like, there has to be, like, oil-based, and then, like, there's water-based, and,
a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do.
All right.
Okay? And we did what we had to do. When in Rome. You have to use olive oil.
I want to ask you a question. For the women who are listening, for the men, women, he, theys, whatever. For the people who are listening and want to have these sorts of experiences when they travel, like, what would you recommend? Like, how do you go about meeting people?
How do I go about meeting people?
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with the basics.
I'm so good at
before they get to olive oil on the condom. Like, how do we like warm it up? You know what I'm saying? What are the steps?
The steps, I think, first and foremost, like, be confident. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. Just approach people. If you get shot down, you get shot down. Like, that's the thing, is, like, people in New York don't want to talk to each other. I had a friend who was, like, I had a friend who was telling me that she was on a date with this guy. Mm-hmm. And he was telling her this story about how he would never approach a woman unless he's matched with her on a dating app previously. Because he wants to be sure that she is attracted to him. And then he told her this story, and she was like, are you insane? Because he, like, met this girl at a party, they were chatting, and then nothing happened. Mm-hmm. And he was telling her what she was saying, and my friend was like, obviously she was into you, why didn't you do anything? And he was just too scared. I'm like, bro, nut up. Like, the fuck? Like, say something, do something.
I saw some, like, crazy statistic where it's like 60% of Gen Z men have never asked anyone out.
That's crazy to me. The thing is, like, okay, tips.
We'll have to double check that number, but it's something ridiculously high.
Eye contact, huge. Make eye contact. It's incredibly alluring. It's important. It's effective. For anybody, platonic or romantic. Look at people.
Yeah.
Make eye contact. Be confident. Don't be afraid to get shot down. Just, like, be authentic. Ask questions. Try to make a connection with somebody. I think one of my favorite things to do is, like, if I'm making eye contact with someone and someone's checking me out, I will literally just do this. I'm not even kidding. And that has 100% efficacy. Like, everyone responds to that.
Wow.
I was walking around Tempelhof, this garden in this park in Berlin with Mamie.
Wow.
Mamie lives in Berlin. We've been kikiing. We'll talk about that later.
Cute.
So I'm with Mamie, and we're getting coffee at this one stand, and there's this one guy. I forget. I don't even remember why I even did this to him. He said something. he was saying something. I think he had an instrument with him, I think. He had an instrument with him. That's why. Because I'm always looking for jazz. I'm a big jazz fan, love live music. And so I see him with the instrument, and he says something. He's talking to the person, and he's like, we make eye contact, and I look at him, and I just go like this. And he comes over to me, and he's like, that was crazy. And I'm like, it worked. And then he says to me, right after that, he goes, let me guess, you're from New York? And I was like, what the fuck? That's happened to me a lot. One time, Minnie and I were just sitting, having a drink, smoking a cigarette. This random girl comes up to the two of us and goes, you're both from New York, aren't you? And the two of us are like, what the fuck are we doing?
Love that,
We're just having a drink.
The aura maxing.
Aura maxing. But so, we, it works. Just like be bold, do something. Also, men usually want you to be bold. Men also want you to be crazy. They say they don't want you to.
Oh,
they do.
Oh my God, men love the crazy.
That's my problem.
They love the crazy. You're so good at being crazy.
No, that's the thing. I'm actually not.
I'm bad at being crazy. I can't do that.
I'm way too earnest and way too in control of my thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, that's also
I know exactly.
A prison.
It's a prison. I know exactly what I'm thinking and feeling.
Right.
I'm an expert communicator. I'll be in situations where men will be so braced for me to have an argument with them, and I'll be like, why are you quivering in fear? Like,
totally.
This isn't that deep. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, maybe I should be getting mad at people. Maybe I should be being crazy.
Last night I met two guys, two separate occasions, and they were both like, yeah, our type is like crazy women, like crazy. There was a race involved, but crazy blank women.
Yeah, I'm dating someone like that right now. His ex was like that.
And I'm like, that's a crazy indicator to have for like what you're into, but men love that. They love the crazy.
Stressed.
Yeah.
Men want to be stressed the fuck out.
I don't know why.
If you show men that you
because
want
men don't experience enough adversity, and that's really
that.
what it
Say
is.
Fucking that.
That's
so
really what it is.
There's actually this one guy that I've been seeing surprisingly consistently in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
We've been seeing each other regularly for 3 months, and it kind of hit us recently where we're like,
oh, that's a long time.
Where are we hanging out? And like, the sex has gotten to a point where it's like gotten like really good. It's kind of funny. The last time I saw him, he was doing all these things where I was like, wait a minute, you like me? And then it was one time, I was after we had sex, he turned to me and he was like, you're really passionate when we're having sex. And I look at him and I'm like, is that a problem? And he's like, no, I like it. No. And I'm like, he's like, it's this strange thing. Cause like, I don't necessarily know if like I want anything more than what we're doing.
Sure.
A big part of that is because he's so objectively fucked up hot in a way that I know he's gotten everything he's ever wanted in his life, and that makes me mad.
There are a lot of women who I've spoken to who are like, I want to date a guy who's less hot than I am.
I want to date a man who is newly hot.
Interesting.
Give me a man who just turned hot.
And doesn't know he's hot? Or
No,
knows
you can know you're hot
okay.
now, but you need to have that foundation of insecurity and anxiety that develops empathy.
Yeah. And a sense of humor.
And a sense of where are the jokes? None of you are making me laugh.
There's no game anymore.
Let's talk about that, Miss Mama. Let's talk about that. Okay, so here's the thing. I hate this whole shtick of like, I don't play games. Let's not play games. No. Play games.
Okay.
Don't play dirty.
Speak on it.
That's my thing. Is like, what is courtship if not a game? And their game has such a negative connotation. I want us to be involved with each other. I want us to think about each other. I want us to do things for the other, to impress, to catch each other's attention, to develop a rapport, to learn about each other, to understand who we are as people. To do that, we need to do things.
Sure. You need to play games.
The thing about playing, it's more like being intentional about how you're interacting with the other person.
Okay.
Being conscious of and paying attention to what they're doing and thinking about what
you
want to do. Be fucking thoughtful. And it's like, if you say you don't play games, you're not doing any of that. You're actively disengaging from the inherent act of what it means for two humans, for two animals to impress, to court the other.
To have the little song and dance.
And like, it's devastating how many times I'll be if we match on a dating app and the first thing you fucking ask me is what are you looking for? I'm like, bro, like have game.
Dagger to the chest. I've never, honestly, the lack of game that I have experienced being back on dating apps. I'm sorry, what are you looking for is an insane question to ask. I'm sorry, I've never met you. How would I know what I'm looking for with you specifically?
What I say when people ask me that, I'm like, listen, I'm not looking for anything. I'm just looking to have a good time. I'm just looking to meet people and see what the fuck happens.
Right.
Because that's the thing. I love that, like, lovers, friends, enemies, like, anything can happen.
Why preempt it? I just like, and people will be like, I don't want to waste my time or whatever. Then like,
What makes you think you're going to hurt me? What the fuck makes you... That's the thing. A lot of these people...
think they have
men
too
and
much
women,
power.
They think they have so much fucking power. I'm like, bro, like, there's nothing you can say and do that would hurt me like that. Like, I don't fucking know you. You think after 3 dates, like, I'm going to be, like, that fucked up about you? No, bitch. Like, get the fuck over it. Like, It's this American central... what's the word? Centralism? No.
American essentialism? What are you getting at?
It's just this, there's like a big cultural concept that like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Doesn't matter. My point is, a lot of people think that like
They're the center
world,
of the universe.
everyone thinks they're the main fucking character.
Yeah, American
especially in this goddamn
essentialism.
city.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's boring. It's so boring.
Yeah.
It denies you the cognizance to understand that other people have perspectives.
I truly have experienced this more recently because I was off dating apps for a while, and then like past few months I just got back on it, and it is like pulling teeth to have a fun conversation with anyone. I'm like, just give me a little bit of banter. Give me something. I'm like, the what are you looking for question? Horrible. Horrible. Never ask it. If you are anybody, never ask it.
Never ask it. You want to know how you want to know what the other person's looking for? Ask them other questions.
Yeah, or
get to know that person.
Meet them in person. I don't
meet
like,
them in person.
What are we doing?
If we're matching on a dating app, we're exchanging very few lines of dialogue.
Exactly. Meet in person.
Let's get a drink.
I'm gonna waste more time texting you over the course of like 2 weeks versus like meeting you for a drink. I'd rather waste 30 minutes of my life than waste like 5 minutes of my life every few hours for the next few weeks until it just eventually fizzles out.
And people who are like, oh, like, I don't want to like rush into meeting someone because it'll be wasting my time. It's like, bro, you sound boring as hell. Okay, stay at home.
Yeah. There's that. Okay, so what are you looking for now?
What am I looking for now? I think I'm looking to be inspired. I'm looking for invigoration. I'm looking to have fun.
Courtship and games.
Courtship and games. I'm looking for someone who it just clicks with. I'm looking for I think it's really important that when it comes to dating that you're around people who make you feel like your best self, who make you feel like the person that you want to be.
Totally.
And I know what that feels like. I've had amazing relationships with people. I have so much love in my life. And it's like, I want to find people who care for themselves just as much as I care for myself and be able to reciprocate that.
Cool.
Because I have so much care for myself, and to my community, I'm able to like extend that.
Yeah.
In a various amount of ways. And it's like, I want someone to be able to do the same. And a lot of y'all can't do that.
Okay, well, we end every episode with a segment called Shots. And I'm going to ask you rapid fire this and that questions. Mm-hmm. You're going to drink as we do it. Drink what you have left. You can also drink what I have if you want.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let me pull it up. This or that, drinks for shots.
Okay.
All right, drink. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Obviously. Delivery or sit down restaurant?
Sit down.
Drink.
Oh, wait. Oh.
Bus or train?
Train.
Country or city?
Country.
Morning or night?
Nah, morning. Morning. I'm a morning girl.
All right. Call or text?
Call.
Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok.
What's your typical Sunday?
Typical Sunday, I'm waking up early because I love to leave early. I will leave the function on Saturday hella early. I'll leave at 11. I'll leave at 12. I don't care. I'm tired. I love my 8 hours of sleep. I want to wake up. I want to have a nice ass slow morning. I want to listen to some music. I want to go out. I want to see some nature. I want to hang with the people. Workout class.
Woman of the people.
And then I'm also like probably going to go to my painting studio. I go every day.
Okay. What is your favorite season?
Fall.
Drink. What's your favorite song at the moment?
Great question. What is my favorite song? Okay, I've been obsessed with Corteza Starr. She's the hot new rapper from Maryland.
Okay.
I'm obsessed with her stuff right now. She's honestly on the rise. She just walked from Mew Mew. She's coming.
Hell yeah. Rate yourself out of 10.
Realistically, I think I'm like a 7.
And if you had a boat, what would you name it? You can't be gagged at this question. It happens at the end of every episode. You've been on the podcast before.
No, I don't remember this question. If I had a boat, what would I name it? I would name it Lady Marmalade.
All right, cheers. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
If you're interested in matching with our guest, you can go to our Instagram or our link in bio and fill out the form. And if it's a match, it's a match. We'll get back to you. But thank you so much for coming on. You can find us at drinks.first on Instagram. I'm your host, Ariana Nathani, at ariana.nathani on Instagram, on TikTok, all of the above. And yeah, just find us online. Pay for my Substack. Cheers.